Hello, hi guys. Hope you're all well. Welcome to another class with me, Tom Harrop. I'm the founder of TJ Tutors. What we're going to be doing today is working on a planning task with mind maps. We're going to be building up our ability to use mind maps and different techniques for creative writing in order to get something in place so that when you have a task to work with for your creative writing, you've got something to kind of go off and you've got a bit of a kind of a plan in place. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to think about, first of all, what do you remember about planning? Okay, so I'm going to just get you to work on a task first of all, just to kind of see what you can do, just to kind of get the cogs turning, get your mind working in however way that you kind of like to plan. And then I'm going to show you a way of doing this yourself. Okay, so here is your picture and task. Okay, let me just get this on big on the screen for you guys so you can see it as follows. So the task here is to write a description of a thief who is wandering through a medieval town. And the prompt is to ensure that you include lots of description and language techniques. Now, often when you have tasks to write with, you're not going to have a lovely picture like this to work with. But whilst we're prepping, whilst we're practicing, let's have some imagery so you can start to get those kind of creative juices flowing, if you will. Okay, so the first thing I want to get you guys to do is I'd like you to try and have a go at working for just a few minutes just to try and get some ideas on the page, see what you can think of, try and see if you can try and just get a few ideas and jot them down. And then obviously you can take a bit of time to kind of do that now. So I'm going to give you a few minutes just to start with that. Just try and do what you can. Try and do what you normally would do when it comes to a plan. Okay, right. So hopefully you've got a few good ideas on the page. Now, what we are going to be obviously doing today is something probably a little bit different to what you normally are used to doing. But what we're going to go through next is something really, really important to remember. Okay, so breaking news, just using techniques isn't enough. Writing examples of similes, metaphors, alliteration, the five senses, this is probably what you've done just now. They're all really important, but vocabulary and techniques are not the only thing that you're going to need to plan effectively. Okay, we've got to ensure that we've got lots of ideas to write about, lots of techniques to include, and also an event or two to keep the reader interested. Okay, so with that, you need a structure to follow too. So what I'm going to get you to think about now is the following. Okay, I want you to create something like this on your page for me. Okay, so spend a little bit of time now just putting this on the page. Try and get probably a full A4 size page. Make it quite small. Put it in the middle of the page so you've got enough space to kind of start drawing around it. Okay, so that's the first thing I just want you to do, just for 1 minute. Okay. Excellent. Right, now hopefully you've got that on the page. We're going to start off working on vocabulary. Okay, so you've got to branch out ideas in your vocabulary section. You want to make sure that you've got lots of ideas here. You want to be pushing and kind of thinking about words, phrases, adjectives, verbs, as much as you possibly can to kind of get those ideas on the page. Now, here are some words that you can start to use. Okay, so what I want you to try and do, I want you to try and aim for 20 words on that part of your mind map for vocabulary. I'm going to give you these. You can use these if you want to. Try and add some of your own as well, but we're just going to spend a little bit of time now just writing down some vocabulary ideas and branching them out. Okay, so hopefully you've got some great ideas for your vocabulary now, some ideas that you can start to put and weave into sentences. Now, the next thing I want to get you thinking about is working on the senses. Okay, so I'm going to, again, it's really, really important that you've got a wide variety of techniques. Not too worried about sight, because obviously sight we've just done in vocabulary, but you can certainly think about sounds, smells, sensations, tastes. All of these things will be really, really useful. Smell and taste are very, very closely linked senses, so you can obviously use either of those for either side of that. But I want you to try now just to branch out in your mind map, trying to think about as many different senses as you possibly can. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that now. Okay, so hopefully you've got a few interesting ideas, a few of the senses you can start to put into writing to make it as interesting as possible. Now, the next thing that we're going to be looking at is metaphors. Okay, so I've given you some metaphors to think about here. I want you to try and start reading through some of these. Think of your own as well. So the ones I've got here will be really useful. Again, try and take some of my ideas if you want to. I'm more than happy for you to do that. The way that we get better as writers is by mimicking other people's writing. So you can absolutely take some of these and use them as your own. Okay. So you could say the town was a labyrinth of secrets, each alley a potential escape route. His heart was a stone, cold and unyielding, as he slipped through the crowd. The night was a blanket that wrapped around him, hiding his presence. The castle loomed like a giant, its shadow covering the square. The market was a living organism, pulsing with the energy of traders and customers. So again, try and think about making things into things that are something else. Okay, metaphors are a very, very powerful way to make sure your reader is immersed, engaged. Good writing will make the reader work. Okay, that's what we've got to be doing. We've got to be creating an active reader. So that's what you've got to be doing with your metaphors, really trying to situate two ideas together and make the reader kind of work with them and think about them. Okay, so just a few minutes now, we're going to think about some metaphors. Okay, so hopefully you've got a few metaphors on your page now. The next thing I want to get you thinking about is working on personification. Okay, so again, I've got some great ideas here to get you thinking. The wind whispered secrets of the town's hidden paths. The old buildings leaned wearily, creaking with age and history. The lanterns blinked sleepily, barely illuminating the narrow streets. The town held its breath, as if aware of the thief's intentions. The cobblestones grumbled underfoot, as if protesting the weight of his footsteps. Okay, so again, take some of these if you want to. Try and personify elements. Try and make things come alive, okay? Okay, hopefully we've got a few good ideas for personification. And again, more than happy for you to use some of these. I've given you these in sentences. It's probably just worth noting now. It might not be worth just writing them all in sentences at all times when you're doing a plan, because you're obviously going to be doing the same thing twice when you actually write a piece. So I recommend instead you're picking small quotations. If you're taking some of these ideas, just small phrases, just to kind of start dotting them around the page and getting them on there, okay? Right. Next thing I want to get you thinking about is similes, okay? So here, I've got a few similes again to help you. So the lantern light flickered like a dying star, casting eerie shadows. His movements were as fluid as water, slipping unnoticed through the crowd. The fog wrapped around him like a cloak, concealing him from prying eyes. The shouts of the market vendors echoed like the calls of distant birds. The cobblestones felt as rough as sandpaper under his feet. So again, I'm more than happy for you to take some of these ideas, guys. It's all about branching out, thinking of interesting kind of nuanced ideas that you might not have thought of originally. Take some of mine. I've got no problem you doing that. It's going to kind of expand your horizons and kind of expand your imagination, so you can start to put your own ideas on later down the line. So if you need to do this, that's no problem. Just a couple of minutes now, guys, for some similes. Try and write some ideas down on your mind map. Okay, right. So the next thing is we've got thoughts and feelings. Okay, so obviously with a character, you need to have some of their thoughts, their feelings, their experiences. Okay, so I've just given you a few ideas to think about here. Maybe they're anticipating stealing something, anticipation of the heist. Maybe the feeling of thrill and excitement. How can you show the thrill and excitement? Maybe their heart is racing. Maybe their hands are trembling as they're fumbling to pick out some coins out of someone's purse. Maybe they're constantly vigilant, constantly nervously twitching, looking around kind of for like a town guard or something like that. Maybe they're momentarily distracted by the bakery's warmth as they walk past the door. They pause for a moment, they shut their eyes, they take a deep breath of that delicious, warm smell of bread. Maybe they're feeling that tension of getting caught. Maybe their limbs are getting tight as they're kind of moving towards that prize. So try and think about for a minute, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? Try and show, not tell. And this is where obviously teachers are obviously telling you to show the ideas rather than tell. Don't just write down excited, show they're excited. Yeah. Don't just write down that they're nervous, show that they're kind of sweating profusely, that their kind of teeth are chattering, that they're kind of shaking. That's going to make it much more interesting. Okay, so just a couple of minutes now for thinking and feeling in that thoughts and experiences section. Okay, hopefully you've got a few ideas there then, guys. Right, now, the last section here has got to be an event. Something's got to happen here, okay? So, again, think of just one thing that happens here. I want you to try and focus on one single event. I've got a few ideas to get you thinking here. So maybe they spot a wealthy merchant with a bulging purse. Maybe they have a sudden confrontation with the town guard. They discover an unlocked door leading to a wealthy home. A chance encounter with another thief. A narrow escape through an underground tunnel. I want you to think of one event, just one event, and that's because obviously we don't want loads of things happening because it's going to force you to tell a story that's too complex rather than show a small moment in time. But I want you to try and make sure that you are getting similes, some metaphors, some of the five senses, some alliteration, just a few ideas that you're going to be able to use as part of your piece of writing. But with a task like this, we've got to have an event that happens, okay? It can't just be kind of just a few descriptions. You're following this kind of person as they go along. Let's just have a little refresher of what the task is here, guys. Okay, so just a quick recap. You are writing a description of a thief who is wandering through a medieval town. You've got to have lots of description here. There's got to be something that happens here, okay? So let's spend a bit of time now, guys, working on getting, hang on one sec, getting some of your event ideas on the page. Hang on one sec. There we go. Cool. Okay, so one event. Again, take some of these. If you want to pick one of these, you can, just one. And I want you to try to now get as much as you can in terms of a simile, maybe a simile to describe how angry the guard is, maybe a metaphor to kind of to show kind of the red face. Yeah, the five senses, maybe they're barking, maybe they're stomping feet. Try and think about getting as much as you possibly can. Okay? Okay, excuse me. Right, so guys, you've now got a lot of different things that you can probably hopefully write a description of a thief who's wandering through a medieval town. Okay, now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm also going to give you something to help you with this. I'm going to give you a model answer and a plan to write as well. So you can obviously pause the video, you can take some notes on this part of the mind map, and I'm also going to give you, this part of the text for your mind map, and I'm also going to give you a paragraph plan too. But I'll just read this out for you, just to get you started, okay? So the thief slunk through the narrow, winding alleys of the medieval town, his footsteps muffled by the cobblestone streets slick with recent rain. Cloaked in a ragged tunic, he kept to the shadows, where the flickering torchlight from the watchman's patrol could not reach. The air was thick with the pungent aroma of roasting meats and the earthy scent of damp wood, mingling with the distant laughter and chatter of tavern goers. His sharp eyes darted from merchant stalls to the pouches hanging loosely from the belts of distracted townsfolk. Like a fox in a hen house, he moved with stealthy grace, his heart pounding with the thrill of the chase. In the marketplace, he paused under the eaves of a bakery, its warm glow and sweet scent of fresh bread momentarily alluring. The wooden shutters of the shop seemed to whisper secrets of riches hidden within. The thief's fingers twitched with anticipation as he scanned for easy marks. An unwatched purse, an unlocked door. The town was a living creature, breathing and pulsing around him, his cobbled arteries carrying the lifeblood of commerce and opportunity. With every step, he felt the weight of the night's possibilities, the risk and reward balancing on the knife's edge. Now, again, you can take anything you like from that example, guys. Anything that's going to be useful that you can use, you can put into your piece of writing. Okay, so let's have a little look at what a paragraph plan would look like for this. Okay, so I mean, my example there is just 2 paragraphs, but just to kind of get you thinking here. Okay, we want to show how he's feeling. Okay, so we want to start by setting that scene. Describe the city in general, mention the senses, show how he's feeling, zoom in on something particular, okay? Focus in on something that's going to get the reader orientated, get the reader kind of situated into the story, they know where they are, and then you can go into the event that happens in paragraph 2. So focus on the problem, techniques, thoughts, show lots of description, show not tell, the 5 senses, okay? Once you've got that, then you can think about how you're going to end it. Okay, so obviously you want some kind of resolution for whatever event you picked. It can be a sad resolution. It doesn't mean it has to have a happy resolution. It just means it just resolves in some way. Okay, so there's lots of different ways you can do that. You can have a cliffhanger, a sad ending. You can have an ending where there's a bit of a twist. Maybe they turn around, they're chasing another thief, and it turns out to be a relative or something like that. So you can play around with these different kind of endings there to have a go with. But the most important thing to remember to include is that you're getting varied sentences, varied vocabulary, and lots of examples of the 5 senses. Okay, so hopefully that's going to set you up really, really nicely to be able to do this yourselves. You can focus on all those different kind of techniques and start practicing working with a mind map plan, the different tasks to work with. Hopefully that's been useful, guys, and I will see you